Today is Tuesday, February 12th, and we are combining lessons, Module 4, Lesson 11, and Lesson 12, because both of those lessons are about solving and creating fraction word problems, okay? And not only are you going to be able to solve and understand how to do fraction word problems involving addition, subtraction, and multiplication, but you will also be asked to create or make up your own word problems when you are given a tape diagram. So you have to make up word problems that reflect a tape diagram. An example of one of these word problems is number 1, or your problem of the day. It says, Kim and Courtney share a 16-ounce box of cereal. By the end of the week, Kim has eaten 3/8 of the box, and Courtney has eaten 1/4 of the box. What fraction of the box is left? Whenever we have word problems, we know we have to do the RDW. R stands for? Read. We have to read and understand what the question is asking. What is the question asking us to find? Luke? What fraction of the box is left? What important information do we need to know in order to understand and figure out what fraction of the box of cereal is left? Paulina?
They're sharing a 16-ounce box.
Does it matter that the box is 16 ounces? No, because we only want to find what fraction of the box is left. So we need to know that Kim ate 3/8 of the box and Courtney ate 1/4. The reason why we don't need to know that it was a 16-ounce box of cereal is because it's not asking us how many ounces were left. If we wanted to know how many ounces of cereal were left, then we would need to know that altogether we started with 16 ounces. But because we don't need to know that, it's just asking what fraction of the box is left, that's all we need. Okay, very good. Now the next step is D. Go ahead and draw yourself a picture. When we draw a picture, we know that we have one big box of cereal. How much cereal do we have altogether? One box. The whole is the cereal. The whole box. We have the whole box. And we know that a whole is 1, right? And then first, Kim eats how much? 3/8. Then, Courtney, I'm going to call her Court for short, eats how much? 1/4. The question is asking us how much is left. Isn't this what's left? So your tape diagram might look like this. How can we find out how much is left? Well, we have to first find out how much was eaten. Yes? Isn't this the amount that was eaten? How can I find out altogether how much has been eaten? Lydia? Yeah, what would our like units be, Lydia? Eighths. So I have 3/8, that's already ready to go. But 1/4 is the same as how many eighths? 2/8. So altogether, how much has been eaten? 5/8. So that means from here to here, altogether, that's 5/8. So how can I find out how much is left? Nib?
You can subtract 5/8 from 8/8.
Yeah, we know that 8/8 is the same thing as 1 whole, right? And if I take away 5/8, what fraction is left? 3/8. What would our units be? 3/8 of the box. Good. Now, how would I change the problem in order to make it that we need to know that it was a 16-ounce box? What could I ask left now, if I wanted to use that information? Go ahead and talk at your table groups. I want to show you, eyes and ears in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you guys see how, for the pink colored ones, there's these words, of the remaining. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Does it say of the remaining for the red ones?
No.
No, it says of the flowers, right? So that's 1/8 of all the flowers. What about 1/4, what about the purple ones? Is it of the remaining or of all the flowers? Of all the flowers. And then 1/5 of the remaining. That of the remaining, those 3 words, it's very easy to skip over them. Because you're like, oh, fraction, color, fraction, color, fraction, color. But those words of the remaining changes the meaning of what that fraction means. So it's very important every time you see of the remaining, that's very important for you to note. Okay? The question's asking us how many flowers are pink. Okay, we need to know that 1/8 of them, of the flowers, are red. 1/4 of them are purple. And 1/5 of the remaining are pink. We also need to know that all together there are 128 flowers. Okay, I'm going to show you now why those words of the remaining are so important. Let's draw a tape diagram. This is all of our flowers. Okay, How many flowers do we have all together? 128. Now, the first piece of information tells us that 1/8 of those flowers are red. So these are our red flowers. And it's 1/8 of the whole tape diagram because it's 1/8 of all those flowers. Yes? Okay. Next, it tells us that 1/4 of all the flowers are purple. So these are the purple flowers. And what fraction of the whole tape diagram are purple? 1/4. Now, it says 1/5 of the remaining. That means 1/5 of what is left. So am I going to divide the entire tape diagram into 5 pieces and call one of that 1/5? No. It's 1/5 of the remaining. This part right here is what's remaining. So what I have to do is divide this section into 5, and this right here is 1/5 of the remaining. Do you guys see that? And this is what's pink, right? If you didn't read the words of the remaining, you wouldn't know that it's only this much. You would think that it's like 1/5 of the entire tape. Do you see the difference there? Okay, so now how are we going to find out how much is pink? This is what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out how much is pink. Well, we first have to find out how much is remaining, right? In order to find out 1/5 of the remaining, we need to find out, well, what is the remaining? How can we find out what the remaining is? Talk at your table groups. In order to find out how many flowers are remaining, right, because we want to find 1/5 of what's remaining, we have to first find out, okay, how much are red and purple? Well, I can do that by doing 1/8 plus 1/4. Do you agree? Which is the same thing as 1/8, plus 2/8, right? Which is equal to 3/8. That tells me that 3/8 of the flowers are either red or purple. Well, let's find out how many flowers that is. How can I find out what 3/8 of all the flowers are? Well, it says 3/8 of the flowers. How many flowers do I have? 128. So this is 3/8 of 128 flowers are either red or purple. What math equation can I do to find out what 3/8 of 128 is? Everyone? 3/8 times 128. That's the same as 3 times 128 over 8. Now, I don't know if 128 and 8 are both divisible by 8, but I do know they're both divisible by 4 because 120 is divisible by 4 and 8 is also divisible by 4. So what's 120 divided by 4? 30. What's 8 divided by 4? 2. What's 8 divided by 4 down here?
2.
And now I can see, I do know for sure that 2 and 32 are both divisible by 2. So what's 2 divided by 2?
1.
What's 32 divided by 2? 16. So my new problem is 3 times 16 over 1, which is 48. That means that 48 flowers are either red or purple. So how can I find out what's remaining? Well, I can take all of my flowers, 128, and I take away the ones that I know are red or purple. 8 minus 8 is 0. 12 minus 4 is 80. Listen carefully. So that means that 80 is my of the remaining. Are all the remaining flowers pink?
No.
What fraction of the remaining flowers are pink?
1/5.
So how can I find out how many flowers are pink? I find 1/5 of
80.
Good. So I have to find 1/5 of 80.